Hi everyone, it's Susan Jones and welcome back to my Sunday Spotlight. In case you're new here, every single Sunday I show up on YouTube with a tip, an idea, an activity, a game, something that you can take and use in your kindergarten, first or second grade classroom right away. This week I want to dive right in and I'm here to share 2 October themed books that I love and a Halloween-ish type activity that I love for the month of October. Let's dive right in. I love to read in October is I Need My Monster by Amanda Knoll, and this is a fun one. It is so cute for the 5, 6, 7-year-old crowd, and it has enough like scariness to kind of keep them on their toes, but not enough to actually scare them. But essentially it's about a little boy right here who needs his monster who's under his bed. He has a monster that lives under his bed and kind of keeps him in line. It keeps him in his bed because he doesn't like to have, his feet hanging off the bed, or doesn't like to get up and walk around because his monster's gonna catch him or eat his toes or something ridiculous. So what happens is his monster leaves for the night and he knocks on the floor and he tries out 5 or so different monsters and none of them work. Spoiler alert, in the end his monster comes back and he needs his monster loves him, yada yada. Besides just how cute it is, I love this book for the vocabulary. I crouched to the edge of the bed. First of all, crouched, great word. Hoping to see a horrible shaggy arm with sharp, ragged nails. That's just one line. The amount of vocabulary words and different techniques for, describing things in our own stories is top notch in this book. Good evening, he said in a high, silky voice. There's just literally on every page, there's so many great vocabulary words and figurative language that your students can really dive into. And this is definitely one that you can read over and over. What I love to do after you read this book as just a, maybe like right before Halloween type activity is I have students create their own monster. Throughout the book, you kind of learn all these different qualities of the monsters that come to visit him and the way that the author describes them. So with their own with their own monster, they can use all these cool different adjectives to describe what type of monster they would love to have under their bed. So if you don't have I Need My Monster, add it to the list. I'll link it down below. There's actually like 3 other ones of these. There's Are You My Monster? Have You Met My Monster? How I Met My Monster? I believe this is actually the first one. I haven't read the other ones, but this one, like I said, is such a winner. It's just a great fun book. Also, for those of you doing remote learning, if you don't have a copy of it, there are tons of copies that are read aloud on YouTube that you could go ahead and share and then have your students still, create their own monster with adjectives to describe them. The second October book I love to read is Stellaluna. This is the cover. Of course I have a copy, and yes, of course I cannot find it right now, but this is the cover in case you don't know what this book looks like, but this is a classic that has been around forever. It is about a little bat who gets separated from its mother and it finds itself in a bird's nest. And, we kind of talk about the differences between the bats and the birds and just the little journey of the bat trying to find its way back to its mother. It is a really cute book, and just coincidentally, because I always read this in October, it has in the past gone along with my the skill of retelling. So I have an interactive read aloud unit. It looks like this. There's about 80 different picture books that I have spent the time making a 1-page read aloud for, and it has, stopping points on different pages with higher order thinking questions. And each of the books, I usually choose one skill that is really highlighted within the book. And for Stellaluna, and I should mention this because with all of the books, there's quite a few skills you could choose. But with Stellaluna, I always focus on retelling specifically with the beginning, the middle, and the end. And like I said, because I read it in October, it just happens to fall in line with that. And it's a great book for talking with your students about what retelling is, how we tell what happens, sequentially, beginning, middle, and end. But also more importantly, I love to use this book to point out important things and not important things, and how when we retell a story, we don't just tell every little thing that happened, right? We pick out what's the important thing that happened at the beginning, what about in the middle, and what about at the end. And with each of the books I have in my interactive read aloud unit, along with Stellaluna, I have a reading response sheet. So for this one, I actually just have 3 boxes for a picture, and students have to go ahead and draw what is most important at the beginning, the middle, and the end to kind of tell the story in a, we call it like in a snap, tell the story in a snap. And then I also have a writing response sheet as well for each of the books. So Stellaluna, like I said, it's a classic. Also, there's a ton of versions on YouTube as well. And then if you want to have your students just go ahead and draw 3 pictures to represent the beginning, the middle, and the ending of that story. And lastly, I just wanted to share a Halloween craft and activity that I have used since I think 2011 when I made this unit right here. It's in my Halloween unit and it is so much fun. If you don't want to grab the entire unit, I'm just going to tell you exactly how to do this craft anyway. But the unit is, I believe, $5 over on TPT, and it's filled with a bunch of different Halloween activities that you can use throughout the month. But this one is the mask craft, and it's funny because back in 2011 or 2012, I wasn't exactly thinking about the type of masks we have to wear now, but the whole, purpose of this was to describe ourselves and read about our classmates. So the whole little quote that goes with this is, "Who is hiding there, you ask? Who is the classmate behind this mask?" And this is what it looks like when it's finished. Essentially, all you have to do is in the unit, there's a template for a head. And so they cut out the head and they, color it to look like themselves, and they can, add hair, add their skin color, add everything about themselves. And then they just go ahead and put a mask. There's also a template for that mask in there. And they put a mask over their eyes. Then you turn it into like a bulletin board type of activity, and students will, there's a planning sheet for them to, think of some things that they love about themselves, and just, their favorite color, their favorite Halloween candy, just some fun little tidbits about themselves. And then they go ahead and write about themselves. And at the bottom, there's a little construction paper that you actually flip up, because you'll read about each student in your class, or if it's a bulletin board, people can do it as they're walking through, but you can read about everybody, and then you have to guess which classmate you think it is. Then you can lift up from the bottom and see if you are correct. It is just a really cute activity that, like I said, I have had for 8-9 years now, and I just wanted to make it have a little home here on YouTube because it's one that I just think is so much fun. So there you have 2 different Halloween books that I love in my classroom, with a couple activities to do with each, and also that Halloween craft that I've just loved and used in my classroom forever. And I hope you can at least take some of these ideas and use them this October with your kids. So if you're excited for any of these, or if you have any other Halloween books or crafts that you love to use, drop them in the comments down below so we can read all about it. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up so I know. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and click that bell. That bell will send you an email every single week when I upload my new video. See you next Sunday. Bye.